today's Valentine's Day. If you don't like the person that you're with, you might as well go ahead and leave right now because it ain't going to be good for you because you may not be able to leave until about Wednesday.
Thank you for listening to the Black Delegates Podcast. Rate, review, share.
Yo, Herb, take it from the top. 1, 2. My mic sound nice. Check 1. My mic sound nice. Check 2. My mic sound nice. Check 3. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Black Delegates Podcast. Today's date is February the 15th, 2021. We're on episode 145. I am your host, the Black Ryan, a.k.a. Frosty the Snowman. Mm-hmm. I'm here with Ghetto Phenom, a.k.a. the Iceman. We got to get all code names. It's cold as hell out here.
Mm-hmm. Hell is hot.
And Boxwine Poppy, a.k.a. Frosty the Blowman.
I feel so freaky tonight.
That was Valentine's
Yesterday.
This is our Valentine's Day episode, so we got to do it right. A little music, and R. Kelly, he's canceled 364 days a year, but not on Valentine's Day, man. I'm sorry. He's still Look, man, the dude's a nasty man,
true?
but hey, 12 play still slaps, and it still gets played in this house. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So, Phenom, is R. Kelly canceled only 364 at your house? You give him 1 day off on probation or whatever?
No, he don't get play around here, but I will say, when you I use the YouTube music like Boxwine Poppy, and if you do the radio,
all the
R. Kelly cut was to come on in the mix, I'm probably not gonna fast forward it. We just gonna let it play.
Okay. Yeah, when mine come on, I'll be like, dang, that song was dope. And then I'll be like, skip. I do skip it. If I can.
Listen, man,
it depends on what's going on. If it's going down, I'm not skipping.
Yeah, no, and
I'm turning up on the kills.
And the lady will tell you, don't hit skip on that because he's got some fire, man. He's got some bangers. They're certified classics. So,
speaking of R. Kelly, man, I went back and watched Boondocks and went through the first few episodes and saw the R. Kelly episode.
Yeah, I remember,
which was funny as heck.
I don't know. I haven't seen that one. I had to check that one out.
You ain't seen that one.
Well, I don't really watch the Boondocks that much, man. Like, just here and there, I catch
you should watch.
But I never watched like the whole way through. I know it was good though.
And it's on HBO Max, so you can definitely go back through them.
Okay.
Now.
All right. Check that out.
I've never seen it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I need somebody to do, man, to end this whole R. Kelly shenanigans, because I definitely don't play R. Kelly stuff, but I need somebody to like re-record all his songs, like get Chris Breezy, or he was kind of canceled, he's kind of back in the phone. Get some new artist to just remake all of R. Kelly songs so I could enjoy the classics without having to deal with the fact.
But it's never ending, man. They'll say like he's still getting paid. It's still his, it's still his publishing and stuff like that. So
that's fine.
It's never ending.
I won't get canceled, but I can listen to the music. So somebody re-record R. Kelly.
Hey, well, just cancel me because look, I'm gonna still listen to it because you can't. It's timeless. You can't get rid of it, man. It's just it's unavoidable.
Matter of fact, look, I got a homie. As a matter of fact, his name is Ryan too, from back in the day. This dude would sing all R. Kelly's music. He sounded just like R. Kelly. I'm going to just have him re-record R. Kelly's albums, and then I'm going to just listen to Ryan and be like, yo, this is dope.
Yeah, every playlist you put on, any kind of like, bedroom R&B playlist, it's nothing but R. Kelly. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, let's move on, man. Yeah. Had a good time listening to R. Kelly.
I will say Boondocks on Cartoon Network saved us because I didn't realize how many times they put the mosaic up and stuff like that. Like the first episode, Grandpa got the hammer out and they didn't show that on Cartoon Network, but HBO Max, they just like whatever. So, they definitely got the adult version on HBO Max, but it's still pretty funny, man. Adult version. Okay, I have to check this out. Apparently, because I was going to actually watch it. I was like, oh, maybe I can watch some of these with Trenton.
No.
Nah. After that first episode, I was like, I'm glad I didn't. All right, so shout out to Boondocks. I guess shout out to R. Kelly yesterday only. All right, so we got some rest in peace, R. Kelly. So we got to rest in peace, man. Vincent Jackson, former San Diego Charger, I believe, from back in the day.
Yeah.
He was found dead, I guess, in the last few days because I didn't see this information on Friday. I saw it today.
Yesterday.
Okay, yeah. So unknown causes at this point, but that was a rest in peace that I did see. Do y'all have any other rest in peace while we're in this segment?
Nobody big, man. I think they said, man, Bill Russell, every year, it was like Bill Russell's birthday on the 14th. I think they so the NBA was making a bunch of commercials about him, and I was like, man, that dude's still, he just going strong. Ryan, that dude's going to outlive you, man. I'm just letting you know. I've been joking on Bill Russell for 30 years.
Off, man. Got lots of years left.
Listen, Ryan, one day a long time ago, me and him just texting back and forth. And he told me that Bill Russell looked like he just stepped off the Underground Railroad, and I haven't stopped laughing since. So that's all
I did not say that, man. That wasn't me. That was you.
That was you, man.
I would never unprovokingly disrespect Bill Russell like that.
Okay.
He didn't bother me.
You respect his rings? Answer.
Keep going! Keep going!
Black History. Do y'all have a random Black History shout out? Phenom. You got a little smirk, man.
Because I ain't got one. I'll figure one out.
What?
I forgot all about that.
Trash. Paul.
Yes,
do you have
I
one?
do.
Derelict of duty.
I do. And
Okay.
piggybacking off yours from last week when you were giving a trash one about Little Shop of Horrors. Look, so we're gonna just keep it all sci-fi and just be goofy because you joked on my serious topic last week. I'm gonna give a special Black History Month shout out to possibly the greatest scientist of all time, even black, white, whatever. His name is Miles Bennett Dyson, the black scientist that discovered Cybernet in the Terminator series.
Okay.
If you remember Terminator 2, that dude.
Cyberdyne Systems.
Yeah,
right?
He took the arm and he figured he retrofitted the arm to figure out like how to make the technology, and he made Skynet. And if you remember, there was like a prolonged scene where they went and like kidnapped him and like basically gonna kill him in front of his kids, in front of his wife, and then he was like, oh no,
and he went out like a G.
Well, no, he went to he took him back to the company and tried to stop once they told him what he had started, he tried to fix it. But it was pretty freaky, man. So yeah, anyway, shouts to that dude. But yeah, why'd they blame all the destruction of mankind on this one black dude? Did you all feel a certain way about that, Ryan? Especially as you as a nerd, I know you had to feel some kind of way about that. They never showed no black scientists.
I didn't. At that point, I was happy that a black person was involved because there was no other black people in that movie until that dude showed up, and I was like, "Oh, look at him! He's black." And
you knew he was going to kill
the fact that he was a scientist. Yeah, but he went out like a G. He did. He was holding the bomb in his hand. He was like, and then he drops it, and then it explodes. That was cool. Mm-hmm. So shout out to him for holding back the God and all that, making him wait until he could explode the thing on purpose.
And but then at the end of the movie, they told him that Skynet is inevitable, and so like, don't you feel like they just let that dude die for no reason? Because they were like, okay, if wouldn't you like to tell him like, hey, it's inevitable, so like you don't really have to blow this thing up. It's gonna happen anyway, so you can just maybe go see your family for another couple of days, and then kill yourself if you want. But anyway,
no, it's no fault of his, man. I mean, he had to. If it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. It is what it is. Every iteration of Terminator, there's a different Skynet, so it doesn't matter. Okay, it's fine. What about you, Phenom? Did you have, I guess, remorse for that dude? How he went out? Were you happy to see a black man?
I don't even remember that for real. So
what? In Terminator 2?
I don't remember. I mean, I saw it obviously, but I don't remember the black man in there. So.
That was the first movie I went to where I remember people were crying at the end. When
that movie was fire.
Arnold Schwarzenegger like lowered himself into the joint. Like there were like these black chicks behind us, and they were crying in the studio.
Because he gave you the thumbs up as he went into the fire, and little dude was crying.
But they was like, I remember I turned around, I was like, "What is y'all crying for? This is the movie." They were just in there boohooing, and I was like, "Oh man, y'all tripping." But
I watched it with Trenton. He was like, "Does he have to kill himself? Does he have to die?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's got to go. He's the last chip." He told him.
Look at us talking about.
Oh, okay. I see. I just Googled it. I see the dude. I remember him now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was
a big deal.
that was my joke one. I would have a more serious one, but we'll save that for next week.
No,
but
those are the kind that I want.
Okay, well, I had one last week and you joked on me, so I came silly this time. So you come with
You
a serious
said
one.
every black musician ever. That's literally what you said. Phenom, do you want to go or you want me to do mine?
Yeah, I'll go. I can jump in. I just thought of I thought of one person, then I decided I'm gonna make it two, or I'm gonna actually hit a entire group, but I'm gonna focus on two people. So mine is gonna be shout out to the Black Tech YouTubers. So I think I mentioned to y'all, a lot of times now, looks like we lost Box Wine Poppy. I have been watching a lot more YouTube and a lot less Netflix nowadays. I just peep out different little videos, whether it's about cars. I told you, the wife's about to get a new car soon, and myself. Or I like to look at tech videos also. So the main guy that I want to shout out is MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, who as a black dude is like oddly the number one tech YouTuber like in the world. He's like the Michael Jordan, the Tiger Woods of tech YouTube. And even my wife, when she's looking at phones or something like that, when it's time for her to upgrade, she always wants to see MKBHD's review. And so I just think it's dope because the tech world is such a, white world traditionally, it's all white dudes in there. But then somehow this one dude just like kind of ascended to the top. I think he got, last time I saw he had over 10 million YouTube subscribers. It's probably over 11 by now. And I just think that's dope. And then on the other side, also Flossie Carter, who ain't as popular, but Flossie Carter is kind of more hood. I don't know if he's from New York. He's definitely from the East Coast. He does it more hood. Like MKBHD plays it straight. Flossie Carter, he got a little more hood in it. He fully tatted, although he got like a cat that's in all his tech review videos, white shoes. So if y'all haven't seen Flossie Carter or MKBHD, head on over to YouTube, check out their tech reviews, because they're literally like the best two that's out there. MKBHD, like I said, he's kind of number one overall, but Flossie, he got the swag to him too. So shout out to them. Yo, and dude is a pro, ultimate frisbee player.
Oh, word? Okay.
And dude got mad hops. Like, there's hella pictures of him just like towering over white dudes catching a frisbee.
Phenom, this could be your calling right here. This could be your second career, man. The basketball didn't work out. You could transition to frisbee. Hey. You could dominate. You could be the Tiger Woods.
Could maybe. All right. So this one, I'm bringing this one in. I'm sure y'all know who this dude is, but I want to give him his flowers. I believe he's still alive. I didn't Google to find out, but let me see if y'all remember just by this song, if you remember who it is.
Come on, everybody, get up off your feet, put your hands together and do the bird with me.
So my person for Black History today, I'm going to give him his flowers. This is the original Birdman. Coco Beware from WWF and E back in the day. This was the black dude who had the parrot, and he would do the flying thing with his hands when he came into the ring. For whatever reason, man, I remember the Junkyard Dog because I remember him because he was one of the few black people back in wrestling back then. And then I was like, man, what happened to that dude Coco Beware? And so I had to Google him, see what he was up to. And Coco Beware is in the WWE Hall of Fame. So just wanted to bring that up. Shout out to Coco Beware. He was fun. He was cold. He was probably more known for dancing around the ring and all that kind of stuff than he was for actually wrestling.
Didn't he have a bird at wrestling that was on his shoulder and stuff like that? Okay.
He did,
Yeah,
and he would put the bird on the side, and the bird would go crazy when he was pinning people. He would pin them and do the wings. Yo, Coco Beware was cool, man.
Hey, that was an era when we were little kids, man, because wrestling was everybody. And look, did y'all were we serious business? Did y'all? Was there a period of time where you thought wrestling was real? Because I know there was. Like, I was not sure. People were like telling me like, "Oh, it's fake," and I was like, "Man, I don't know." And then people were like, "No, it's real," and I was like, "I don't know. I guess it is real. I'm not sure."
When you found out it was fake, though, were you like, "I'm done"? Because me, I was like, "I can't watch this no more if I know it's fake." Because then I started noticing.
No, I still watched it because I think I was still fairly young when I realized that it wasn't real, but it was still entertaining, So I still watched it, still enjoyed it.
I actually got a funny story about this because I can't remember when I figured out, but I guess it was sort of late, I guess. It was past all that Hulk Hogan, all that kind of stuff, but so when my nephew and my niece was little, I want to say 8 or 6, we took them to a wrestling match because my nephew was big into wrestling. So we took him to a WWE or whatever like that. And we saw Batista was there. He was still wrestling at the time. And I can't remember. It was a few other, but Batista's probably the biggest name out there. And we had good seats, man. We were maybe 7-8 rows from the front. Great seats to see all this stuff. But so we're sitting there watching my nephew, they're in the seat. There, people are hyped up. They got just the crowd. That was the coolest thing. The people in the crowd, people would just walk around wearing Ric Flair costumes, stuff like that, just walk in the crowd. But my nephew, pretty quickly, he could tell, he could see the slaps, and you were okay, you could tell they weren't they weren't really landing. He was like, oh, this ain't, but he could figure it out. He even said something to me, and I was like, he's figuring out this ain't real. And so in real time, I could see it on his face. He was we went there starting off. He was all excited. Then by the end of the match, he was still excited, but he could tell okay, this is all just fun, a little bit fun and games. It's not really just the real hits and stuff like that, because you could just see it when you're 8 rows away. You could just see it. It's just plain as day. Okay, this is a little staged. So anyway.
Take them to one of them hardcore matches where they hit you with
hit
chairs and
Mick Foley,
2x4s.
Mick Foley stuff. Yeah, that was
some AEW. AEW is wild.
That's
just
new,
on the
that's
commercials? Current? They wild. Yeah, that's the new hotness.
I checked out on wrestling, but yeah, that Mick Foley era when they were steel cage match, whatever it was. Yeah, that was some crazy stuff, man. But those dudes, they're nuts, man. They do all that. They lucky they alive.
Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Greatest wrestler of all time?
Yeah. Who's your favorite? Not necessarily the greatest, but your favorite.
For me, at the Brown delegate, it's Razor Ramon, brother. Later on known as what was his name? Was it Kevin Nash? Yeah. No, not Kevin Nash. I forgot what he changed. Oh, Scott Hall. That's right. He changed his name to Scott Hall later on. But he came in as Razor Ramon, and that dude
is Razor.
And he was. And he was
right.
Yeah, he was the girls, Chico, they for fun. Yeah, and he had the little toothpick, and he had the little S curl going on in the forehead. But he would do this move where it was the crucifix. He put you on his back like this, and he put you behind his back like a cross, and he'd toss you over his shoulders onto your neck. And I think they stopped it after a few rounds, but after a few times he did it because I was like, okay, you're gonna kill somebody doing that, man. But that was his little signature move for a little while, the crucifix. Well, yeah, man, that was the dopest dude for real.
Right.
Phenom?
What about you?
Oh, you want me to go?
That's my question. Right. How you gonna go to me?
Dude, I gotta go with Macho Man Randy Savage, man, because nobody was cooler than Macho Man. Although
those interviews,
his interviews was fire, man. Just how he talked was fire. It's still fire. I routinely, and I mean routinely, not too much, but occasionally I will go back. I will play some Macho Man, Randy Savage highlights and just his interviews and stuff, man. Fun dude. I got a figure of Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior. So them the only 2 wrestling dudes I even rock with. And Junkyard.
Razor Ramon actually has some good interviews too, man. If you watch some of he's tripping.
I'm a big fan of his. And what was the dude? I would give him an honorable mention just because that dance was fun. The dude that had the chick's picture on his tights.
Man,
put his hand out his head.
What
was that dude's name?
Rude.
Ravishing Rick Rude. Ravishing Rick Rude was hard just because that was some of the coolest thing to do in the ring for no reason.
I saw there's a documentary on wrestlers after they. I think Rick Rude is in there. No, it's Jake the Snake. I mean, it's not. It's Jake the Snake. I'm sorry, Jake the Snake fell on some hard times after wrestling. Man, he was on. I think they said that dude was basically wrestling for crack some nights. Like on the the little local the county fair circuit and stuff like that. Yeah. He was basically wrestling for crack and stuff like that. Oh man, sad. So
stuff. Who you got, Phenom? I know I probably stole your dude.
Well, Ultimate Warrior definitely was one of them. Okay. I was a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. Dude just came. Dude was weird. Came in like jacked up with the little ties around his muscles and stuff. But who I was actually going to say is actually a tag team, the Road Warriors.
Yes.
Really? You like them?
The Road Warriors, man. And so I think one of them, Laurinaitis actually just passed.
Yep.
The Road Warrior Hawk, I think. Or no, was he?
I'm thinking about Legion of Doom. Who was the Road Warriors? I gotta Google them.
Man, the dudes with the shoulder pads. They had shoulder pads with spikes on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They was the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, they did change. They did end up changing.
Yeah, they Legion of Doom. Okay,
because I think they added like a third person, and they were the Legion of Doom then. But originally they were the Road Warriors.
Yeah, I messed with the Road Warriors too. They were pretty dope. They had the shoulder pads,
spikes. Yeah, they had the spike shoulder pads and the face paint. That was before Ultimate Warrior did the face paint, and so it was always dope. Also, the British Bulldog, I always was a fan of him too.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
So
that dude was so goofy.
That's funny because
always do that. That dude was goofy.
Yeah, if you go back and look, wrestling was two things for real. It was corny, like you said, and it was racist. Like all the black people, you had like Kamala, who like
African dude,
green poison in your eye, and they had Russians who were always like evil, and so it was real like race based. Back in the 80s.
Hey, I actually had jokes though. I mean, Razor Ramon, he wasn't even Hispanic, but the dude, actually, if I'm gonna say the real brown delegation, Rey Mysterio, man. If y'all ever see that dude,
Rey Mysterio Jr.
That dude was talented. That dude he probably could have played soccer or football or something. That dude, if you watched him wrestle, I mean, he was like later on, but man, that little dude, he probably still can do some moves, man. So his little stuff is always fun to watch. So, shouts to Rey Mysterio.
Cool. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, I was. The thing about wrestling, though, I was man, Ultimate Warrior. Look, man, I looked at Ultimate Warrior. I was like, man, I want to be just like Ultimate Warrior when I get older, man. I'll be jacked up like him, man. How come they didn't tell us that these dudes were just on pure steroids back then, man? Like, and just the little kids just sitting there watching all these dudes roided up out there on the stage, and you just thinking like, oh, man. If I just eat my Wheaties and go to sleep and do this and that, I'll be that big. Nah, hell no, man. You can't get that big. It's crazy. I told you I flew on a plane one time with Hulk Hogan and Jimmy. Do you remember the guy named Jimmy Hart? No, Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South.
Oh yeah, Mouth of the South.
He was like the little manager dude, the little honky tonk manager looking dude. So they were on a plane coming to Memphis one time.
R.I.P. Bret Hart.
Yeah, but they were on a plane, and I forgot, it was some wrestler that died. I forgot which one wrestler it was, but they were going to go to the funeral in Memphis. And so we were like on the plane. And I think I was texting you, Ryan. I was like, Hulk Hogan, man, everybody, this is before the N-word incidents with Hulk Hogan. But look, man, it was like, that was like the biggest, celebrity thing. I mean, that whole plane was like, everybody was hyped up because Hulk Hogan was sitting there in the front row because he sat in there first. And I was like, for whatever reason, I was in first class too. So I was maybe like 2 rows behind him. And I didn't mess with him like that. When you just came in, he was already sitting there on the first seat. And you're just like, okay, here's Hulk Hogan in row 1. So everybody, the whole plane had one. He had like the bandana on and the cutoff sleeve.
He was in character.
He tore off his shirt.
He just wears the bandana. He just wears, and he has the cutoff sleeves. And then right beside him was like people. Not everybody recognizes him, but if you watched wrestling back then, you knew that this is the Mouth of the South dude, and he's just going.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. What was funny about Hulk Hogan is that dude like had the wackest finishing move of all time. Like he was everybody's favorite because he had the charisma and all of that. But like his finishing move was just a leg drop. Like I'm gonna slam you and drop my leg on your neck, and then you can't recover from that. It was so basic.
Yeah, and definitely worst hairline in the WWF. WCW in all of wrestling. Where's hairline? It was trash.
Hey, but I will say the last thing about Hogan in wrestling, it probably was the greatest move in wrestling history when they turned Hogan heel, because he had been such like an all-American good guy forever. And then when they turned him heel in the WCW and he was with the NWO, like that actually blew my mind when that happened.
Yeah.
And I think I knew wrestling was fake by then, but it was like when Hogan turned heel, I was just like...
But everybody was in NWO, so I didn't understand how they were the bad guys if everybody's in it. Like Macho Man, all them dudes was NWO.
Because they wore black. That's why. Because once you wear black, you're the bad guy. You know this.
Right.
And you start painting your beard black, because that's what Hogan was doing.
Right.
Hogan was just like, put the little black stuff on my beard. Anyway, man, I'm sorry I got dropped off, but everybody on that plane, they were hype as hell when they saw Hulk Hogan. So you don't have any, there you go, brother. All right, brother. God bless you, brother. All right, brother. Everybody had to say something to Hulk Hogan when they walked past. They were so hype. But that was before the N-word stuff, so now it's a no go for Hulk Hogan, I guess.
Yeah,
that
shout out to the character.
Replaced.
Yeah.
Shout out to the character of Hulk Hogan, not him as a man. All right, let's get into This Week in Blackness real quick. Paul, I'll make you go first, man. What you do this week?
Man, I didn't do a damn thing, man. Just been stuck around the house, man. Like, it ain't been snowing, like we're going to talk about in a minute, but it's been raining, so stuck in the house. But other than that, we had a good week, man. Valentine's Day, I didn't get a damn thing. I bought the kids stuff. I bought the wife a little card or whatever like that, and we just had, listened to a little R. Kelly. Just had a good time, man. What can you say? It was a great time.
Some Chocolate Factory?
No, 12 play. I'm telling you, 12 play still plays. The entire thing. But yeah, man, so that's it. Other than that, man, just a regular boring week. Some home repair stuff going on around here, but nothing big, just minor stuff. And yeah, man, what y'all have been up to?
All right, I'll go next because mine ain't fun. So I didn't really do much of anything, but with it being crazy snow around here, it's snowing every day. Every time I look out the window, it's like I live in Minnesota. This sucks. I don't know what people in Michigan and Minnesota be thinking still living in Michigan. But if I got this much snow every day, man, I don't know what I would do. I'd be depressed like a mug. So it's pretty much been my mornings every day, waking up, looking out and seeing a bunch of ice and snow everywhere. And so I did have a good time with the wife on Valentine's. It was cool.
Good time.
Kept it basic for the most part. Mm-hmm. But it was still, quote unquote, special enough. So shout out to her.
Threw on the Cisco's the thong song for her.
You say kept it basic, so
heck no, man. It was basic.
No swing,
basic.
No handcuffs.
And what can you do with the kids? The kids always up and they never go to bed and keep getting up 18 times a night. At one point, Trent did knock on the door and he's like, "What y'all doing?" And I was like, "Yo, it's Valentine's Day." I was like, "Don't worry about what we doing. We Valentining." And then he's like, "Can I come in?" I was like, "Dude, no. Get away from the door." Now, we wasn't doing nothing at this point, but I'm still just like, "Yo, get away from the door." I was like, when me and your mom in the room, just don't come back out your room, man. Just, you cool. We put you to bed. You ate, you drank, you went to the bathroom. What else do you need from us?
Man, I know the feeling, brother. I know the feeling, and I had the feeling happen this weekend, and it's annoying as hell, man. I just, man, Phenom, you cannot picture it, man. It totally messed up the flow. That's all I can say.
Right. And before I pass to Phenom, last thing, this is random because I want to get it off. I keep putting it on this list, but it doesn't go with anything, so I haven't been able to just throw it in. Dude, I want to give a big thumbs down, a sad face, a crying emoji, whatever I got to give it to Totino's, man. Totino's that makes Totino's pizza rolls. I don't know if this has ever happened to y'all before, but the kids, they like the Totino's pizza rolls. It's a good lunchtime snack for them. Why did I get a bag where like 3/4 of the bag ain't got no cheese, no meat, no sauce inside of them? They're just empty shells. How does this get past QC? Like, what are y'all doing over at the Totino's factory? It's nothing worse than you cooking lunch for the kids. They got a short period of time to get back to class, and they coming to you saying, "Daddy, none of my pizza rolls had any meat inside of them." Like, just ruin lunch. They have nothing to eat now. So then I got to try to make them something else before they hurry up and go back to class, man.
Gotta add them on Twitter, bro.
Man, forget y'all Totinos. And I mean, this was the 2 fat bags like that you get from Sam's. So both of the bags inside the box was both like that.
You're gonna get all your 76 cents back for that big industrial size bag.
It's not worth the time it'll take for me to find customer service, call, email, text, or whatever.
On Twitter, that's all you got to do.
Listen,
Add
man,
them on Twitter to get the ball rolling. I'm telling you.
There was a summer in college where I was like broke as hell, and I was like literally surviving. I remember I was down to like my last like $5, and I think all I had, I think Tostinos came through in the clutch. But man, I cannot eat them. My kid eats them now, and I cannot eat them because like I have those poverty night flashbacks from like, oh man, I was like man, look, I remember one time I moved into my apartment. And I had like $5 left after this. And I had like a little bit of food. I had a Tostino's pizza. Man, I dropped that Tostino's pizza like on the floor. And I
ate it anyway.
I ate it anyway, man. I had to. I was like I'm gonna eat it again.
I've done that before, for real. So
oh, man.
I understand. Man, you got to do what you got to do.
Dirt don't hurt.
Oh, man. It was disgusting. It was like little pieces of dirt. And I was like, man, I got to eat this because I ain't got nothing else, man. We've been that poor.
I probably did. Yeah, I understand, man.
Now we hit.
There's probably some other dude's pubes in there or something like that. Man, it was terrible, man. I mean, it was apartment, you know, the student apartment. You know what I'm saying? So like, I hadn't mopped it or anything like that. I mean, it was disgusting up in there, man. No, now that make me shiver, man. I'm sorry.
Fina, did you do anything better than what me and Paul did this week?
No, of course.
Let's see. So I guess you talked about Valentine's Day, so I'll summarize that real quick. So, you know, we stayed at home. We really didn't do much. I've always gotten my wife. I don't know if I started this in the very beginning. I think so. She at one point said she wanted some chocolate-covered strawberries from this one store. So I've been getting her. I get her that on Valentine's Day regardless. And actually now she's changed to where it doesn't have to be from that store. There's a place right by the house that has them. And she was scared to try them for some years. And I think maybe last year, the year before, I bought her some from there and she likes those. So I got her that, but that was it. We didn't exchange gifts otherwise. Just got her the chocolate covered strawberries. But we did watch, what did we watch? We watched Judas and the Black Messiah. Okay. We might talk about that in the future, but she wanted to watch that on Valentine's Day, so which is definitely not a romantic movie. It's definitely a sad, depressing movie, but it was good. And then we also watched See You Yesterday on Netflix, which I don't know if...
Oh, you ain't seen that yet? I saw that. Yeah.
No, I hadn't seen that. And I was just kind of scrolling.
Time travel with black people.
Yeah, I was just kind of scrolling, and I'm like, time travel with black folks. I was like, this looks interesting. I was like, I'm gonna take a chance and watch this, and it actually was good. And I didn't know until the end it was produced by Spike Lee. So shout out to Spike Lee. He having like a renaissance. I know that's a couple years old, but he's been putting some nice movies out.
You know what? My apologies to Spike Lee. I actually was on a thread the other day, and they were talking about Spike Lee possibly doing some Marvel movies, and I was like, man, please don't let him do any Marvel movies, because I don't remember the last Spike Lee joint I thought was good, but now that I think about it, See You Yesterday was a Spike Lee joint. You're right. So, yeah, that was a good movie. I enjoyed it, despite the, same old topics for black people. Getting shot by the police. But if you can go back in time, try to stop it, I'm cool with that. I liked it.
Yeah, Spike Lee he kind of been killing it lately, man. He had the Five Bloods, that was good. He had Black Klansman, that was good.
I didn't even get through that. Black Klansman was good too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he's had some nice little movies. Also, told y'all I was out here in Snowmageddon. Tonight we had to. Well, I guess I didn't have to go out, but I was going to go out to get something to eat because we really hadn't gone to the grocery store and kind of stocked up. You know, we got some stuff, but it was like, we just ate pizza last night, so, we didn't want to get a pizza. So I was like, I'll just run out and get something. Everybody was closed. Like, all the fast food places were closed, so I just ended up running to the grocery store and, just grabbing some groceries for the crib. But it was just crazy because the streets are not great. I mean, it was clear. I got a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so I didn't really have too many problems. But it definitely was all bad out there, man. So,
right.
You know, especially when you see McDonald's and Popeyes and Chick-fil-A closing, you know, by like 7 o'clock, like all them places were closed. Pizza Hut, everybody was closed except for the grocery stores and the gas stations. So,
because I know Amazon has said delivering today 2 days in a row, and them Negroes ain't show up. So they just like, yo, we ain't going nowhere. But it has not stopped my neighbors from going in and out all day with the Camaro. Shout out to that dude.
Oh,
he's like, yo, and I'm like, yo, you can't even drive up the street right here, man. It's a hill. You can't get up the street, but he powering through it, spinning out the whole way all day long, back and forth. I don't know what that dude be doing, but hey, when you got customers, you got customers.
Right. Yeah. And then the last thing I'll talk about. So, have y'all ever heard of hot chocolate bombs?
Sounds like something dirty, so I don't want to know.
Sound like something Paul might be interested in.
Good. So it's not just me. It makes me feel better. So one of my coworkers, she does a lot of cooking and events. Like she hosts events. She always cooks. She like to, cook for the office. She'll just one day just be like, don't go get lunch. And she just brought in food for like the entire office. And she's a good cook too. And anyway, so one day she had told me, she's like, yeah, I'm making these hot chocolate bombs. I'm going to give you one. And I was just like, oh, okay.
You married. So your answer should have been like, no, thank you. I'm married.
Now, my wife knows her. My wife is cool with her. My wife got no problem with her. She's, she's older. I mean, she's not old, but she's definitely older than me. And she's just one of them people that is super cool to everybody. Nicest lady you would ever meet in the world. And, so my wife knows she got no beef. And anyway, so she told me, she's like, I got this hot chocolate bomb. I'm going to bring it down there. I'm like, cool. So I had left my office, and I guess that's when she came and brought it down. And so she left it on my desk. And so I'm like, okay, so it looks like, it kind of looks like a chocolate covered strawberry or something. It's just a big piece of chocolate, and it's put in she had it in like a cupcake or a muffin tin, at the bottom or whatever. So I'm like, okay, it's just sort of a circular piece of chocolate. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to try this. And so I'm on the way home. I didn't get to eat. I was real busy at work. On the way home, and I'm like, yo, I'm going to see what this hot chocolate bomb is about. And she had put it, like, she real legit and authentic. So she had put it in this little cube, like a plastic cube, like a display cube. And so I'm seeing it in the little muffin tin. I open up the plastic cube. I'm like, yo, I'm going to just eat this on the way home. So I bite into it, and it just seemed like it's just like a chocolate shell, like a hard chocolate shell. So I'm like, okay, it's chocolate. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I bite. So I'm driving, and I bit into it again. On the next bite, I got some marshmallows. And so I'm like, okay, maybe this is why it's called hot chocolate. Because like hot chocolate, then they got marshmallows in there. And I'm like, okay, so I eat the marshmallows. I'm like, it's pretty good. I
know where this headed.
The next bite, I bite into it, and I got like hot chocolate powder. Like it's hella hot chocolate powder in there.
Really?
And now I'm like choking because that hot chocolate
good?
just like flew. And I'm like,
yeah, you got to tell me what I'm eating, bro. Don't just have stuff
wiping
like
hot chocolate off my coat. I'm like, what the heck? So I go back the next day. And I'm like, yo, you almost killed me. I'm like, I ate this hot chocolate bomb. And I'm like, it's good. I get the marshmallows. I was like, and I get the hot chocolate. And it just go all, down the wrong pipes. And she was like, you just ate it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, what was I supposed to do? She's like, you're supposed to put it in hot milk or hot water. And it turns into hot chocolate.
What?
Oh, okay.
But it's a cake?
I don't know that. I'm like, I'm not that cultured. You got to give me directions on that. And she just started bugging up, bro. And then she like told me, she's like, yeah, she told her husband, she's like, I told him what you did. And he started laughing. Like everybody she telling about it was just bugging up. And I was even my wife, because she ended up making 2 more for me and my wife. And I told my wife about it. And she started laughing at me. I was like, yo, I don't know what this hot chocolate bomb crap is.
So you said it was candy, so it's not like cake. It wasn't cake.
It wasn't cake. It was just like a hard chocolate shell but it was put in like a muffin tin or whatever. So I thought you just eat it, but you're supposed to pour hot milk on top of it, and then it melts, and then it kind of, you see the marshmallows pop up to the top, and it's just like you drink it like it's just regular hot chocolate. But I didn't.
Hence, hot chocolate bomb.
Right.
Hey man, that kind of stuff got to come in instructions, bro. I don't know what that is. Don't just hand me something that look like a piece of candy.
Explain it to me, but I wasn't in my office, and she just didn't. She just figured I had heard about it because I guess this is like hot out here in these streets. Like that's what they doing right now. But
we are black men. We don't know anything about these.
Exactly.
I ain't never seen. Yeah, hot chocolate is fine, but I'm not drinking no hot chocolate. Just standing around with some fellas just drinking hot chocolate.
Right.
Hey, have y'all ever had edamame? You know what that is?
I've heard
Ryan,
of it.
I know you never had it because you don't mess with it.
Heard of it though.
So when you go to a Japanese restaurant or Asian restaurant, and it's like the little green, the plate of green beans they give you, and they're in the green bean shell. Yeah. And you like supposed to like so like look, you're supposed to like the shell that comes in the shell. You're supposed to like suck on them, suck the bean out, pause, or dip in the little sauce, right? Yeah. Phenom, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we never had those before. My wife and I ordered them one time. We didn't know what to do with them. And so I'm sitting there trying to chew that shell. I was like, this is like the nastiest thing. Then finally I had to like look. I was like looking around the other tables, like because I saw other people having. And they were, and I was like, we had to like figure out like, oh, okay, you're supposed to spit this. I was like, oh, so you just leave the shell in the, but you're supposed to suck the little bean out like that. But like, yeah, man, I felt like an idiot doing that. So I'm sure that Phenom, that was the same feeling you had right there.
Yeah, and I think so. I'm sitting here looking at the edamame. And I have had those, but I think I just ate it. Like I wasn't sucking those shells out. I just ate it like it was a green bean, basically.
Yo, so our culinary skills are trash as a podcast.
Hold on, his stomach is impressive. How would you? Like, I couldn't even chew through that. I was like, man, I can't eat this. This is like, man, I had to run to the back. I would have a bubble gut situation right there immediately if I did that, man. But Phenom just powers through. It's amazing. Right.
Yeah, I probably would have ate these too, man. They look like snap peas.
But you can't. But you can't, man. If you taste it, it's like it's too thick. It's inedible, man. It's like all like fibery and stuff like that, man. You couldn't do it. No, you just suck the little peas out. That's what you do.
I ain't sucking nothing out of nothing, G. Don't even ask me.
Look, man. Next time I come to let's not come to STL. We definitely going to get edamame.
Hey, stop it, man.
I'm gonna watch you too.
Pause what you talking about right now.
We're going to get edamame.
He said next time I come through.
Next time, no, man.
I'm bringing it.
Pause everything you just said.
Hey, all you and the wife, my wife, we all going getting together. We're going to go get edamame, man. We're going to do it.
It's got to be like that, a quartet. All right. Yo, let's get into these stories. We run out of time.
What stories do we have?
We got the stupid impeachment.
Okay.
I told y'all that this was going to be a waste of our time, a waste of our tax money, and turns out I was right. But Phenom, how do you feel about the circus that was? Do we have excuses to what's going on? Do you think that they should have still done what we expected them to do, which was nothing? Should they even have bothered?
Yeah, I think you still got to go through the process of the impeachment just for the simple fact that if you don't, basically you're saying like that was cool. Like you're saying that's not really a big deal. So even though they felt like they were going to lose in the first place, it's just one of those things you had to do. Now, I do really wish that they would have stood their ground on the witnesses, because at one point they decided they were going to call witnesses, and then all of a sudden that same day they kind of punked out because the Republicans said, well, if you call witnesses, we're going to call witnesses, and we want as many witnesses as you call, we want to have. And I'm just like, just play that out. And I think what I heard is that President Biden, really didn't want it to draw out. He was like, look, we're not going to win. Let's not make this a distraction. Just get it over with. But like my thing on impeachment is really for the public. Like you want to present that case as much as you can to the public, whether you get the conviction or not. Like lay the facts out all there so people can see. And I think too many times the Democrats just kind of let the Republicans just bully them around, just punk them around. So that's the only thing I would have changed. They weren't going to get the win. I mean, the Republicans are kind of cultish right now, and they love Trump. You see, what was it, 7? Was it 7 Republicans that voted for conviction? And you see most of those 7, like, their home state parties, their state parties censored them.
Right.
Or, tried to take some type of action against them, which I think is just hella whack. But that's what you're up against, but I think you still have to go through it.
Yeah, I agree as well, man. I think Phenom stated well. I mean, you got to go through it, but just to get people on the record.
Yeah.
My thing is, and we knew the outcome and stuff like that. It was compelling. I try not to watch too much of it because it's just like, okay, man, I'm glad that administration is over. Hopefully we have some like sanity, and these last few things we gotta get through. But it was all right, man. But I didn't appreciate Mitch McConnell and his like half. Because Mitch McConnell basically, he voted to acquit the dude, but then basically right afterwards, the entire case that they laid out, right. He basically agreed that there was right. No question he did it. But they were like, but it just procedural like, and that's just kind of like the kind of two-faced, have it both ways kind of BS. That's the problem with all this stuff.
Yeah, and really, then he left the door open right for civil suits and
which he should. Which he should. I mean, like that, the family of that dude, of the cop that got killed, like. I mean, I guess they said that dude was a Trump supporter, or he voted for Trump before, but he got killed. Like that dude, that was senseless, man. The dude should be able to sue Donald Trump and say like, hey, man, if you hadn't done this, these people wouldn't come here, and I'd still be alive and I'd go to my family, man. It's crazy, but
more than likely just sue the U.S. government for not being prepared.
Well, I don't think you can't really sue the U.S. government directly,
or somebody, whether the police department.
I think you sue the people that inflame the crowd, the people that actually
Capitol
did it.
Police.
Well, yeah, he worked for the Capitol Police, so we'll see. Other thing I don't understand is like why. I mean, I get why, but like the impeachment, like okay, the House brings it to the Senate, but I don't understand why the Senate because it's all based on the party in power or how many people there is. So I mean, they were saying like, oh, well, 7's actually pretty good. That was like the most of a sitting president that's been impeached party to ever vote for impeachment. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like they were like, oh, that's actually pretty good. So if you're never gonna get the other side to
66%,
but if you're never gonna get like a majority of the candidates or the person or the president's party to impeach him, what's the point? So like, why don't they just have the trial and then let the people vote, man? We in 2020, man, we do it on our phones. We have a referendum, something. We can do something instead of having these fools up here that it's all baked in. They're sitting there talking to the attorneys during the trial, like, hey man, let's strategize. You should say this. You shouldn't say that. Like, how does that work? And you're the person that's supposed to be impartial. I mean, so it's a farce from the beginning.
Yeah,
give it to the people to decide.
I think that's kind of new. I mean, I think in terms of the history of American politics, even though it's been very partisan over the years, I think we're in a time now where they just don't care. If you're a Democrat and the Democrat do something, you just don't care. If you're a Republican or Republican do something. And it's more so on the Republican side, but it happens to either. But I think, like when Nixon was impeached,
he never got impeached.
He was about to be impeached,
right? And he was going to lose. They said, you're right, because they said he was going to lose.
Yeah, he would have lost. Like there was enough people in his party that said, "Look, this is illegal. Like we're not going to stand for this." So at that time, I think impeachment was a valid option. I mean, clearly, because if he didn't think he was going to lose, he wouldn't have resigned. He knew that the votes weren't there, or the votes were there to impeach him successfully. And so I think now we're just in a different age where partisan trumps everything. I mean, it's just like gangs, like.
Yep.
So it's just different. And so I do think you have to look at it different. You have to approach it different. There's a lot of talk about the filibuster, whether they should end that. Like, I think you basically have to, because it's just no bipartisanship out there.
Yeah,
Ryan, look like you about to hop in.
Ryan don't care. He like whatever.
So what is this though? So is this the 4th impeachment trial period total?
Yes. Yep.
So we still fairly new at this. So I'm gonna give them a bit of a pass as far as what are you supposed to do in these situations. We really don't have precedents. I mean, the latest one was Trump before, and then before that it was Bill Clinton for for his marital issues, which I don't know, but I guess lying under oath at that point. So
and then what else? So what's the other one?
Minor.
Andrew Johnson from like 1860.
Well, I was counting Nixon in mine.
Nixon he never got impeached.
Wasn't impeached, but he was about to get impeached when he resigned.
Yeah.
Okay. But did they go through everything?
No, because he resigned. He resigned.
So he left before the trial too. Okay.
Yeah,
right. I mean, like he had strong
trial
support.
is the impeachment.
Yeah, he had strong support, but then when like those tapes came out, were like because he had like an audio. You have to read all the Watergate stuff, but he had like an audio system set up, and so he was recording stuff. Right. And then some tapes, they played some of the tapes, and then there were like parts of the tapes that were blacked out, but you could tell like that they were I don't think he was really playing stuff, but he was like trying to cover it all up. And so once that came out, then it was like the support with in the Republicans kind of went away, or at least they and they told him like, hey. We're probably going to go the other way. And plus, like, the war was going on, stuff like that, Vietnam. So I think he was kind of losing some support for that and stuff like that because he basically lied about that and stuff like that. So yeah, man. That doesn't count as impeachment. That's the only one that we think of would have, but it never actually went to trial. So whatever.
Okay. All right. So
let the people vote, man. Stop doing this charade with the Senate, though.
All right. Next topic. I'm gonna throw this in, and I'm gonna ignore what's on this list.
Tupac, top 25 year anniversary? Oh, no. Sorry.
Dave Chappelle was back in the news. He said that he has gotten his name back and was paid millions of dollars. If y'all recall, listeners, he had got on Instagram and he told everybody that not to watch the Chappelle show because they were paying him no royalties, zero. For the show, and he wanted his royalties back. He thought he was being cheated and it was unfair, as well as he could not use his own name to go forward and do another Chappelle show if he so desired. So in this case, it's not like we were rooting for the small man because this dude's rich too. So we just rooting for one rich man to give some money to another rich man. But in this case, it's kind of creators' rights, but it only happens to somebody as big as Dave Chappelle at this point. But I thought I meant to put this on here and I didn't. And I thought it was a decent topic to talk about. Do y'all feel that it's a good thing that he got his rights back? Was it just because he's Dave Chappelle? Will this affect other artists down the line? You shaking your head, Paul. What you think?
No, man. I mean, it's just he pulled a little power move. And I guess it's okay. I mean, but I mean, with entertainment, all these dudes, music, entertainment, their contract, it's whatever in their contract, man. So some dudes get jerked or whatever like that. I don't think he really got jerked. Did he maybe give away more than he thought at the time? But I think he's been compensated very, very well. I mean, he doesn't even have to do these little shows that he's doing now and stuff like that. I mean, I think he could just retire off that show and been living very, 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 very well. But he wants certain things back from it, and they gave it to him. Obviously, the show must still, even though the streams must make tons of money for the Netflix, because if they were to give him all that stuff back, then they're making multiples back above that, whatever. So I don't think anybody's hurting here. So I'm not. This is just rich people complaining against other rich people. So for me, I can't really get too caught up in it. But other people, if you're smaller, if you're not Dave Chappelle, you're not going to get the same kind of lenience for your old product, and it's just not going to work. So more power to him, I guess. But I'm not really caring about too much.
Phenom, what say you?
I think it could have an impact. I mean, I'm all for creators having rights to their work and things like that. I mean, the music industry, we've seen for so long where artists kind of get screwed, especially early in their career, because they have to sign, over basically all the rights for just a little bit of money. And so, to see guys buying their masters back and things of that nature, I think is good. So I was happy to see Chappelle sort of get some money and some power back over his work, even though, yeah, he is rich, but I think that's just the right thing to do as a creator. And I do think that can influence these companies in the future, because if you saw the kickback over Dave Chappelle right now, then I think if another artist, even if they're smaller, if they do the same thing, it's just more likely to get eyes, to get the public interested, because they're like, oh, well, Dave Chappelle, he got his stuff back. Why shouldn't this artist? So it's not going to happen for everybody, but I do think it will help in companies, especially with black folks now, because, you know, these companies are worried about appearing racist or looking, you know, racist or unfair. So I think, you know, maybe a company or a manager or whatever might look and be like, yeah, we could screw this guy over this much, but let's give him a little piece, you know, so they don't come back and this doesn't go against us. So, you know, we're not going to give him half. We're not going to give him 25%, but let's give him 10% just so we can avoid this negative publicity in the future. So,
right. And I agree with that. I think it's become way too standardized for people to cheat folks. And it don't matter. Like, let's just give them a bad contract right off the jump. And you definitely got to have somebody go through a contract with a fine tooth comb. I've heard of people putting, you can't use this likeness or name in the universe kind of stuff in contract language. Like, yo, man, don't put anything off this planet in my contract. I can't go to Mars and make an album without you getting some money from it. That's ridiculous. Get that out of here. We got to make sure people are taken care of for the work that they do. If y'all making billions, why can't somebody else make millions?
Well, we got to keep in mind, Dave Chappelle, he got a $100 million contract for like after the second season of the Chappelle Show, and then he, you know, after like 3 episodes, he turned it down. So
right.
I think they were compensating pretty well. So
that's all right, but
nothing
still,
else like 50 million.
If you playing this stuff, he should get royalties for it because that's how things work.
Yeah.
And one thing, you know, to keep in mind is nowadays, it's a lot easier for artists to kind of go on their own and do it, you know, to where you don't have to sign away your whole life because you have social media outlets and things like that. So you get people who kind of make it on the strength of their own work, and they may sign distribution deals or they might sign partnerships, but they're not as bad as they once were. And so, you know, you get people like Just Hilarious, who kind of pops up just from Instagram, just doing stuff on Instagram. Now she's touring and doing comedy shows, and I'm sure she probably has I think she has a TV show that's coming out, or at least a segment on her Just with the Mess. And, you know, you just see more like Instagram celebrities or Facebook Live people who end up making money off of that. So,
right. And speaking of creators getting paid for their work, Paul wanted to talk about the podcast Patreon game.
Oh yeah,
you've been itching to talk about it. So
yeah, man. Think? I mean, so this goes on the Joe Budden podcast. You know, they were on Spotify for like a year or two. I think it was 2 years, wasn't it, Ryan? Correct me. And 2 years, yeah. So then the deal ended, and they went independent again. So they're back on like Apple Podcasts, and then they were kind of figure out like what their next move is, and then. Like in the last couple weeks, they decided that they're gonna keep doing the way they're doing it, but they're, in addition to like taking some ads or sponsorships, I guess more so, they're gonna do Patreon. And so they had like 3 different levels. I think it was $5, $10, and $25 a month. Is that right, Ryan? A month, or
it's not per episode,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
5, 10, 25.
And you get this bonus content, you know, bonus episodes, bonus, I don't know, there's I guess like Discord conversation, you know, you can ask questions, blah, blah, blah. So all this stuff like that, which is all well and good. I'm supportive of that, right? But then, first I want to see, like, would you follow? Because Ryan, I know you're a big fan. Would you follow? I thought about it for a second, but I want to see what you think about that. And then secondly, every time now they have the pod, they talking about, oh, save that for the Patreon, save that for the Patreon, and that's the part. That's the problem. Like, I guess you're trying to get people to go there, but then it kind of dilutes down your content. So I don't know. It's tricky for a creator. Like, how do you balance that line? You know what I'm saying, between the free stuff and the pay for the paywall stuff, and how do you keep it all interesting? I just don't know. Ryan, what do you think about some of this stuff? Are you paying $25 a month?
Let me let Phenom go first. What you think about Patreon, Phenom?
I mean, I think Patreon in general is a good thing. I mean, you give people a way to generate income, you know, off of themselves, so you don't have to, you know, sell ads, or you don't have to focus so much on the ad. You let the people kind of directly pay. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's kind of whack if what Paul says happening, where you like, let me save this for the Patreon, let me not put this out on the platform I normally would. I think that's kind of whack. But I think Patreon in general, it's a good thing, man. Give your fans access to more. If you're going to give them some, extra skits or some extra conversation, because most podcasts, Black Delegates, we don't edit out a whole lot. The editing is usually mistakes, Paul cussing or something like that.
Always Paul cussing.
Right. But a lot of podcasts edit their content more heavily. You know what I'm saying? They may cut out a whole conversation just for time's sake. Let's cut out this 5 minutes. So if you get to say, all right, well, let's, our podcast is an hour. Our podcast is an hour and 15 minutes, however long. But we might talk for 2 hours. We may talk for an hour and a half. Let's put that extra content on Patreon. Like, I think that's good, but I don't think cutting it out of your initial deal, like I think that's kind of whack.
Now, I listen to quite a bit of podcasts. Some do use Patreon. So the thing is with Patreon, because we're in a situation where with podcasts where we're going to be, or where we were when cable was an issue. So you took your cable, you're like, hey, this bill is way too high. I'm going to split these up. Or I'm going to get rid of cable and I'm just going to get whatever is cheaper. And then what happened? They raised the price on the internet. And then everybody now has their own streaming service. And so everybody's $5, $10, $15 a month. Now, I could do that with my cable because I was paying one fat bill in the first place. But what I was paying for podcasts was $0. So now if you come to me and say, all right, I got to pay $5 a month for your podcast, or $25 a month, I don't know what kind of access that is. Is Joe Budden going to call me every morning and be like, yo, what's up? Because that's worth $25, I guess. But I'm not paying for that either. And I don't want to hate, man, because, hey, if you feel that a podcast is worth money, you should be able to donate to them. So in that regards, I think Patreon, they should just have a pay what you want to pay tier. And just if you pay anything, you get something. I do have a podcast I listen to. They did that. So even anything from $1 on up, like whatever you want to put in, you got all the Patreon content, and they make whatever money they can make. Because, if I'm Bruce Willis out here and I'm rich and I want to listen to the podcast, cool. I got more than $25 to give you. But if I'm just the Black Ryan and I'm struggling trying to make my own podcast and I'm paying out $15 a month at least just to get this podcast out there, I can't then turn around and I may not be able to turn around and send that money out for another podcast. So it's one of those things, man. It's got to be profitable. I think ads should be your number one revenue stream. If you don't have ads, it's got to be literally like just donations. Like, hey, I get something out of your podcast. Here's some money every now and then that I could throw you like a tip jar kind of thing. Right. So that's how I feel about it. I don't know about anything more than $5 a month for a podcast. I believe is ridiculous. I don't know what you give me. This ain't a OnlyFans.
Might as well be.
Yeah, it's got to be if you charge $25 a month, and that's
crazy. I think if you don't have ads, then maybe there's a lane for you to charge, because some people hate ads. Like, there are people who pay, for services, for ad-free services, just so they can cut out the commercials. So True. If you want to do that, where you're like, all right, look, we're not going to bombard you with ads, but if you give us $5 a month or whatever, I can see that. Me personally, and I listen to podcasts mostly, but I'm just not paying for a podcast. There's no podcast out there that I listen to that I'm willing to pay for. So if you start charging me for this podcast, now this might be a podcast I listen to every day, but you know what? Everybody got a podcast now, so I can find another version of your podcast that's not going to cost me.
But hold on, our listeners, if you're listening and you want to give us $25 a month, Phenom will give you a wake up song every morning. He'll sing to you. Right. He'll give you the R. Kelly "Sex Me" remix verse there if you want.
Give you AM bars, right? I'm saying I would not pay for a podcast, but I do feel like this podcast is worth paying for. If I was going to pay for one, it would be the Black Delegates podcast. So go ahead. We're going to drop the Patreon. We're going to drop the GoFundMe, the PayPal, all of that, so y'all could pay, but I'm not paying for Joe Budden or anybody else.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to try to figure out how you're gonna monetize, because I feel like podcasts like radio. If radio is worth something, podcast is worth something. It's the same thing, just a different way of receiving it. So it's definitely a way to make money off of it. We just got to figure out a better way. And I think the main thing probably be if there's a network for you to get on a network, and then the network be paid, and then they divvy the money up that way. That's probably the best way to do it. And that way they have just ads in general.
Yeah, I mean, you got ads, you got network, you got things like merch. Like the biggest thing, all media, including podcasts, is really about, publicity, like getting the word out. So a big way that podcasts make money is when they go do live shows, when they do on location pods. Now that's not really happening in COVID, but if we got to a certain level where we could go city to city and host in-person podcasts, and people are paying, they're going to pay, $10, $25 to come in person and be entertained. That's a way where you can make money. You could get merch. If we got the Black Delegates podcast shirts and hats, that's a way that you make money off a podcast. Or if we have our separate things, if I drop a mixtape, or I drop an album, or I write a book, or Box Wine Poppy is giving out financial tips, his Wall Street bets.com where he's giving you
Box
stock
Wine
tips
Bets.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the Black Ryan is selling his his action figures. So podcast, like once you build a big enough audience, if you have something else to promote, that podcast or whatever other media is going to let you get money that way.
Right. And these bigger, more popular celebrities are starting to squeeze into our space out here. This was the little man space, was podcasts. We just found a corner of the internet, and we sat here and we started talking on the microphone. And now Big Cats is coming in with real radio shows and cable TV shows talking about, I want to do a podcast. Yo, if y'all don't get out of here and go home, man, like let us get some money. Let us do something. We don't need the big dogs out here eating up our food. But yeah, that's cool. I was just curious what y'all thought about that. Maybe one day we can explore that. But as of right now, got to get this listenership up.
Yeah, we need to get a Patreon for Box Wine Poppy's internet, because he dropped off here like 20 times today, bro.
Yeah. You
got to take a collection for him. Put a little extra in the offering plate for Box Wine Poppy. Usually his internet be fast because he always uploads stuff, but I guess that weather out in North Khaki.
Yeah, every time it rains, his internet start being trash. I'm not sure
he be out on the
how
roof.
That works. Right.
He's probably on the roof right now.
Maybe that's why he always got to get the kid. He got his wife on the roof just holding the satellite dish.
He got that like the old satellite dish, where you got to point it. I mean, I guess all of them used to got to point, but
point up to the east,
a certain way. Yeah.
All right, let's get this last topic. Phenom, this yours. As a person, I don't know if you like to eat at your desk or not, but apparently in France, you don't have that opportunity, or didn't have that opportunity at all.
Yeah, and I thought this was just an interesting story, man, because as you alluded to right now, you can eat at your desk if you were an employee in France, but only because of COVID-19. So because of COVID, they said, look, we're going to suspend this rule to allow people to eat at their desk because, they don't want people congregating at cafeterias, or if there's a lunchroom in the office, they don't want people to be, eating all together and spreading the COVID germs. So they allow people to eat at their desk. But historically speaking, it has been illegal. And so I just thought that was interesting.
How illegal?
I mean, they're not coming in to arrest you if you eat at your desk, but it's discouraged. Citation. And the reason is because, it's like a workers' rights thing. So they said they don't want companies to sort of force you to work through your lunch and just be like, have you eaten at your desk. They're saying like a work lunch is sacred. So like a lot of times in France, I guess, for work lunch, like they go to lunch. Like they go and eat at a cafe or a restaurant, around the corner, and they take that hour or, longer than that maybe, and go eat for real. Whereas, we in America, a lot of times, we eating lunch at our desk, trying to work through it or whatever. So I just thought that was interesting, how that lunch is just kind of sacred to them, and just thought, wanted to see what y'all thought about that.
Box Wine, do you make those, you make your underlings sit at their desk and keep slaving away? When they say we got to get a lunch, you say no, 15 minutes and be back here. Get back to work.
You damn right. If that's the way I got to do it, that's the way they got to do it. Yeah, man. I mean, in America, that's how it is, man. You work, and really, I like getting my lunch over with, man. I don't necessarily have to eat at my desk, but I mean, now that we're all in COVID times, I guess everybody is eating at their desk. But I never really liked long lunches. Like, man, 30 minutes, give me at it, because I want to go home at the end of the day. I want to get to work and I want to go home as soon as possible. But in France, man, when you go to France, like,
3 hours.
It's expected. Like wine at lunch. That's like customary. Whenever I go over there, man, for like work and stuff like that, I mean, I never seen them not drink wine. Like, and to Americans, we go over there and like, y'all drinking at work, at a work meeting in lunchtime, and like that's cool. And like, oh yeah, it's just nobody's going. No, I don't think anybody's going like 5-6 drinks in, but they're gonna have a glass or two of wine at every lunch. That lunch is gonna last 2 hours. And then sometimes they go and sometimes they go for coffee after that. So they're gonna go. So I mean, they just middle of the day. They just gone for like 2.5 hours, man. And the Americans, you just sitting there like, all right, can we get done with this so we can go back to work, man? I don't want to be here till 7 o'clock at night. But it's just a different mindset over there, man. So it's just I can't say it's bad or it's just different. That's all I can say.
Hey man, I think that it should be illegal for you to eat lunch at your desk because you need to get up and get out. I personally refuse to eat lunch at my desk. I'm not doing that. I am going to go outside. Even if I got to sit in my car, I'm just going to be outside the office. It refreshes me. I need some fresh air. Give me a chance to walk around, do something else. I'll just go to a store and walk around. I don't care what I do. Even if I don't eat, I'm still getting out and doing something. You cannot sit at your desk because then you feel like you've been there all day for real. So it just helps to break up the day for me. Personally, and I think it's good for everybody. If everybody does it, you recharge your batteries, come back, do it again. You're not as angry towards the end of the day or frustrated. You got to take your lunch. You can't skip it. Even if you're not eating, just get out and do something.
But also, you share it. You should see, like I got like Phenom. I'm assuming you got your own office. I got my own office. You share an office, so like that probably factors into it too. Like, man, this dude behind me. I'm sick of this dude, so I'm gonna walk up and get up out of here for an hour.
I don't want to even while I'm at home. When I take my lunch breaks, I go upstairs. I don't stay down here.
Gotcha.
It's not the same. I just got to get out the same spot.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way as Ryan. Especially now, I just got to get out the office. I got to go away. And that's why a lot of times I eat, a lot of fast food. And part of the reason is because, part of it's because I'm just too lazy to sort of fix it in advance. But the other half of that is I like to get out of the office and have that break. So even if I do bring my lunch and sort of eat it at my desk, I'm still going to take some time and drive. So, I'm going to go to get a beverage at Quick Trip or something like that. I'm going to just go get a tea or something like that. Or I'm going to just go drive for 15, 20 minutes just to get out of the office and break up the day. And at my previous job, it was like France. It was, if I wanted to go grab a drink, because we had a lounge area set up in the garage. If I wanted to go out there and get a beer, I could do that.
Bar. Wow.
Like we did. We had a full bar because it was like sponsored. So, occasionally that would happen. I'd just go get a beer in the middle of the day. Or like, I told my basketball tales, if I want to go out and play darts or play garage basketball, like I could do that to break up the day, but I need something. Like I just can't sit at my desk and just work through the whole day. I won't say I can't, because I definitely have done it, but that is not the way that I would like to do it. So I feel like in France, that's kind of dope that they just made it illegal, so you don't even have that option really, and America is just different. Like they want to work us to the bone. We work, 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours. And so I just think it's dope that another country has that different system like that.
One of my old bosses, she would not allow us to eat lunch at our desk. I think it was for different reasons. She was just like, she didn't want to smell nobody's food, kind of a thing.
Right.
So it's just like, don't
I respect
eat
that too. Actually.
I do respect that because it's always somebody got to bring in some salmon or some tuna. Yo, what's wrong with y'all, man? Don't bring your chitlins in for lunch that day. That's just ridiculous. Don't bring in smelly foods. I used to have a lady. She ate salmon like every day, and she would sit at her desk. Whatever.
Look, I can't say
it's
too
an
much.
L. I'm saying salmon.
I just bought some salmon to make for tomorrow, so I got that in the refrigerator. I gotta make that tomorrow. But I'm here with it's just at my house.
Some oven steamed salmon, and then just sit back at your desk and had a whole third floor smelling like salmon. Yo, what's wrong with you?
That was great, man.
Hey, one of my old coworkers used to bring in like fish in the morning, like not salmon either. It was like, I don't know what kind of fish it was, but it was like a stank fish, and would like have like breakfast fish, and just used to stink up the whole office, bro. Like literally, you walk in, and everybody who walk in the door like what is that? And just like, it just amazes me that you're not cognizant of that all your employees are uncomfortable by your food, or they just don't care.
Do you think there's, in the history of work, has somebody brought chitlins into the office? Do you think that's happened?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Are black people alive? What are you talking about? Yes, somebody has brought chitlins in. Definitely January the 2nd. You don't think somebody bringing some chitlins
at work? Somebody done like cleaned and cooked chitlins at work.
At the desk. Oh,
yes.
Man.
I bet that's
man, make sure I never use their keyboard if they're going out sick for the day. That's the thing I want to make sure to avoid.
Right. So, Phenom, if the listeners would like to contact us and let us know what Stankfish lunch that their coworker has brought in, where can they contact us? I guess, is that Paul's question or yours? Not yours.
That's mine.
You should know this. We 150 episodes in.
I got confused.
If you want to drop us some funds, if you want to fund the Black Delegates podcast, as well as tell us your stanky fish stories, you can email us at theblackdelegatespod@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us via our social media outlets. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram and Twitter at Black Delegates, _between Black Delegates. If you want to reach out to Box Wine Poppy directly, cash app him some money to get his internet correct. He is at Box Wine Poppy on Twitter. I am at Ghetto Phenom on Twitter or Instagram. And the Black Ryan is on Twitter and the gram at the Black Ryan, Box Wine Poppy. If people want to help out the show, if they want to help us grow, if they want to help us to get that Joe Budden sized audience so we could charge $25 a month for the show, what can they do?
Again, send in the $25. We're gonna set up the Patreon. You get an early morning phone call personally from Phenom, and you might get some dirty pics in there somewhere. Which we can't promise anything, but you might for the 25.
Might do the silhouette challenge. Send it to the phone.
Hey, the day you send the silhouette challenge to us, I'm dropping off this pod. That's all I know.
Hey, y'all were talking about starting the podcast OnlyFans. What happened to that? I think that was your project, Box Wine.
I'm working on that. But yeah, man. So hey, you don't have to send us some money, but man, just rate us, review us, and if you enjoy it, tell a friend. That's all we want you to do. Ryan, you got any closing words for us?
We out?
Yep.
We out. Let's kill it.
Peace.
That's right.